Good evening, friends. Tonight I share a tale, known only to those who stare at the moon and hear its secret laughter. Listen close, for once the moon begins to giggle, nothing will ever be the same. In a quiet village edged by mist and pine, people whispered of nights when the moon seemed alive. Old marks on doorposts warned travelers to stay inside on full moon evenings. No one obeyed until one curious stranger arrived. She was tall and pale, with eyes bright as polished silver. She carried a small lantern and asked the villagers for directions to the old hill. That hill stood alone, crowned by a ruined chapel and a circle of broken stones. The stranger climbed its steep path as the moon climbed too. Round and glowing, at each step, her lantern flickered. By the time she reached the top, the moon was high and shining like a pale jewel. Then, faint at first, came a soft, musical chuckle. The moon was laughing. Drawn by that curious sound, she set her lantern beside the chapel's cracked altar. She traced her fingers over the stones and spoke a single word in an ancient tongue. The laughter swelled, echoing through the trees. Soft giggles grew into wild cackles, and the lantern's flame danced like a leading thing. Below, in the village, lights winked out one by one. Doors creaked open on their own. Shadows slipped through empty rooms. Each villager felt a strange tug in her heart, as if the moon called them home. One by one, they rose from their bed, stepped outside, and walked the dark road toward the hill. Their faces were blank, their sounds fixed on that laughing disc above. At the summit, the stranger smiled. She beckoned the villagers into the stone circle. The moon's laughter reached a fever pitch, and strange cracks raced across the sky. Then she spoke again, and the chapel door swung wide. Inside, the walls pulsed with pale light. The villagers entered, silent as statues, and one by one they melted into cold, silver dust. The stranger raised the lantern. Its light burned pure white. The moon's laughter slowed. They shifted into a low hum. She closed her eyes and whispered a final secret. A wave of light swept down the hill, wiping away every trace of path or trapper stone. In the village, empty houses stood silent under the silent moon. Only the stranger remained on the hill. Her lantern still glowing, she turned to face the moon and bowed deeply. In that instant, the moon's face seemed to bend, forming a cruel, knowing grin. It was no longer far above her. It hung just beyond her outstretched hand. Tilted and smiling, she reached out and touched its cold, smooth surface. The laugh that answered was hers and the moon's. As she vanished into silver mist, the lantern clattered to the ground, its light flickering out, and in the silent village below, windows rattled and doors creaked, waiting for the next full moon to laugh.